Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to go ahead and get started. Today we're going to be discussing Pinnacle Series and how to train with efficiency. My name is Amanda Torres and I'm the marketing specialist here at Microdesk. I have with me Rose and Dolly from Eagle Pointe Software to do our webinar today. We're going to briefly discuss who is Microdesk and Eagle Pointe, why Pinnacle Series can be a benefit to your firm, a Pinnacle Series overview and how subscriptions work, and then we'll finish it off with a Q&A at the end of the presentation. At the bottom, you'll be able to write all the questions that you have and one of us will respond. So about Microdesk, we were founded in 1994 as an Autodesk reseller with a simple mission: to assist architecture, engineering, construction, owners, and GIS firms with improving workflows and integrating project delivery technologies. Over 25 years later, and that mission still holds true. Microdesk is a well-established consulting firm with offices all over the U.S. We have over 230 consultants, solution specialists, and software developers that can help in all sectors. We are a Platinum Autodesk partner and a proud partner to Eagle Pointe Software. So Rose will take it from here to discuss who is Eagle Pointe and about Pinnacle Series.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Amanda, and welcome everybody to this webinar today. Thank you for your time. We're very excited to show you everything about Pinnacle Series. So before we get started, my name is Rose Otto. I'm a partner manager working very closely with Microdesk, and it's a pleasure to be here today. So let me tell you a little bit about the company behind the Pinnacle Series. Eagle Pointe Software was founded in 1983. We are a company of architects and engineers, construction managers, customer success managers, and developers. And the reason I say that is because we create our content in-house and we create our platform in-house as well. We go way back creating Autodesk add-ons and solutions, and actually we're a reselling business like Microdesk is as well. But in 2006, our focus really shifted to the Pinnacle Series, and we realized that all of our clients we had been working with were all experiencing the same three challenges that my colleague Dolly will talk to you about in just a moment here. If you are familiar with KnowledgeSmart, the leading tool assessment for the AEC and manufacturing industry, we acquired that company in 2021 and have an exclusive integration with KnowledgeSmart. We will cover this today as well. And then we have close to 300,000 users in the platform today, actually. We are a founding member of the Autodesk Developer Network and an authorized publisher with Autodesk as well, giving us early access to new updates. And we have a close relationship with Autodesk to make sure that we are really catering to the training that you're looking for, and we're keeping up to date with everything that Autodesk is putting out. We've been partners with Microdesk for about 5 years. It's been a really, really great partnership so far. We have a close relationship on the content and platform development side as well. So it's great to rely on Microdesk for that too. So I don't want to talk much more. I want to turn it over to my colleague Dolly to talk about the why of Pinnacle Series, and then we can jump right in. So Dolly.
All right, thank you, Rose. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dolly Burke, and I am a customer success manager here at Eagle Pointe Software. I will be kind of giving you that demonstration today. So before I begin, start to show you around, I really just want to give you an understanding of why Pinnacle Series exists. We have found that there's these three common challenges that many organizations face. These are laid out here on this slide. I'm going to spend just a few minutes explaining these challenges so then we can understand how Pinnacle Series can help, and then we'll jump over to the platform for that demonstration. So the first challenge, this concept of continuous learning covers a few different challenge areas. Whether it's onboarding new employees and bringing them up to speed, you need to be able to give the new employees the training they need to complete their day-to-day work. Or for your existing employees, you want to provide training, as an opportunity for those users to take their skills to the next level. Also, with the technologies that are being used, new versions are always being released, and users just really need a way to maintain their knowledge level. Pinnacle Series comes loaded with training courses for a variety of technologies. The platform provides on-demand training for users when they need it, but also when they have the time to do it. The next challenge is knowledge capturing and sharing. For many organizations, it can be a challenge to capture knowledge, or think of it as your company standards, processes, or best practices, and then be able to share that knowledge throughout your organization to all of your users. Having all this information not only documented, but also consistently updated and easily accessible can be a challenge, especially today if you look at how we're working. Many organizations have employees spread across multiple locations, or many of us are working remotely or not necessarily working in the office at the same time like we're used to doing. It can be a challenge to establish that centralized location of information that users can access regardless of where they're working from. With Pinnacle Series, you can easily upload any custom content to the platform. You have unlimited cloud storage to upload documents, videos, PDFs, any sort of training materials that your organization needs. All of this information then becomes searchable on the platform, and any of the materials that you add can be incorporated into the learning that's being assigned out to your users, so that way you can be sure they're learning about your processes or your best practices there. So having all this information or knowledge in one place, makes it easier for employees to find what they need and stay productive, which brings us to that last challenge of increasing productivity. If we look at the way that users are currently using Pinnacle Series today, half are logging in for the e-learning training. The other half of users might be working on a project and logging into Pinnacle Series to, find the answer to their question or get some guidance if they get stuck. People need answers to their questions, and they need to be able to find those answers quickly in order to stay productive. So Pinnacle Series really starts with the learning content, but then also becomes this central location to share all of your tips and tricks, best practices, company standards, all in one location so everyone knows where to go, and makes it easily accessible as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Pinnacle Series, but just a reminder, as we are going through this, if you do have questions, there is a question box below. Feel free to ask those questions. Now I'm here on the Pinnacle Series homepage, and just a few things off the top. Pinnacle Series is a browser-based solution, making it very easy for your users to log in, wherever they may be working from. You can also use whichever browser you prefer. I'm logged in now using Chrome. As far as the overall, look and feel of the platform, we do allow each of our clients to customize their tenant. So right now we are logged into a tenant that was created for Microdesk, so we're obviously seeing their logo and their colors, but you do have the option to customize any of the images, the colors, the fonts that you do see. So I just wanted to be sure to mention that off the top of the call here as well. Now, when a user logs into Pinnacle Series, what they see on their homepage will be customized to that user. So depending on what work groups the user is a part of or what courses they are currently enrolled into will drive what they see in the middle section of this page. Now, if a user is logging in to access some content, maybe to get some guidance, they could do a search up top, or they could browse for information over here on the left-hand side in this area that we call Asset Libraries. Now, this is where all the content on the platform is organized. Like I said, be browsed by the user. There are two sections that make up this area. So I'm actually going to start with this Adobe and going on down. These are the public preloaded libraries that are available with a Pinnacle Series subscription. So meaning our team here at Eagle Pointe Software, some of our partners such as Microdesk are maintaining the content within these libraries for you. So you can see there is a long list of technologies. We can expand some of these to see everything that's included. Autodesk being the largest of the libraries. So you can see everything from AutoCAD, BIM products, Civil 3D, Inventor, Navisworks, down to Revit, and much, much more. But we also have content outside of Autodesk as well. So you can see Adobe, Bluebeam, Global BIM standards. We have a large Microsoft library. We also have some more like soft skills with business and management, health and safety. So a lot of different content areas to get you started here. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump into Revit here so we can see how these are laid out. Now, across the top, we will see the version years that are included in this library. So as the technology is updated, the content within Pinnacle Series is also updated. So your users can toggle to the appropriate version year that they are using. One customizable piece that I will note, we can hide anything that's not relevant to your user. So if there's version years you are no longer using or technologies on the left-hand side that you are not losing, that can all be cleaned up so that way your users can focus in on what is relevant to them. Now from this landing page, I do want to introduce the 4 types of assets that we provide content in within Pinnacle Series. All right, so we have learning paths, and these are the on-demand e-learning types of courses that are going to guide the user through that structured curriculum to learn a new skill or to fill a knowledge gap. There are different levels of learning within Pinnacle Series. Then we have workflows, and workflows are a visual guide of a process or a best practice. It's going to walk the user step by step through that process and provide details along the way. And I will jump into examples of each of these in just a moment. Documents, you can think of these as quick, helpful information, tips and tricks, maybe some frequently asked questions or troubleshooting steps. And then we have a large library of videos as well. So kind of in contrast to a learning path that might be 30 minutes to an hour long, all of our videos are 5 minutes or less. So let's say the user's working on a project, they don't have time to enroll in an entire course, they just need that 5-minute reminder on how to do something. They can check out our video or our libraries of videos, excuse me. So once again, these are what we call assets that make up our libraries over here on the left-hand side. But these are also the types of materials that you can incorporate into the platform as well. So up top, we have this custom content library for your organization. So right now we're logged into the Microdesk tenant, so we're seeing their custom content that they have added for their employees or maybe some of their current customers today. But you have the opportunity to include any of your internal training materials, documents, videos, best practices that you have created today or create in the future can all be imported into Pinnacle Series and kind of organized into your own custom asset library. You can rename these folders whatever you wish based on the types of materials you do add. Once again, you do have unlimited storage, so you don't need to worry about running out of space. But this is really just a way for you to create that central repository of information and being able to help to share that information or knowledge across your organization there as well. So that was kind of a quick high-level overview of the homepage, but thinking back to the presentation, or the beginning of the presentation when I was explaining those common challenges, I now want to show you the areas of Pinnacle Series that can help with each of these challenges. So thinking to the first challenge of continuous learning and being able to provide training for onboarding or training for users to expand their skill sets, there's a few different ways that users can access their training. Users can browse the libraries, kind of like I showed you, and self-enroll into courses that they may be interested in, or a manager or admin can also assign learning to users and kind of set that due date and track their progress through. Once that enrollment has taken place, the learning path will appear in the My Courses area until the user completes all the required materials. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to jump into this Revit MEP learning path so that you can get an idea on how our learning is structured. So on the left-hand side, we have the outline or the curriculum that has been put together for this course. So the platform is going to guide the user through the list. Learning paths can be made up of videos, documents, workflows. Some will have an exercise for the user to complete within the technology, and then most will also include a quiz at the end. Once again, it is on-demand learning, so if the user needs to pause and exit Pinnacle Series, The platform will bookmark where that user was, and they can jump back into the training from their My Courses area the next time that they log in. Now, this is an example of a standard learning path that comes with Pinnacle Series, but once again, allowing you to fully customize the experience for your users when they are logging in. We give you the tools to take any of our out-of-the-box content, such as this learning path, copy it down, and then make the modifications needed so that it fits your training needs. So essentially, with our managed content area, you would be able to copy this curriculum down, remove any items that are not necessary, but also incorporate maybe your own custom video, your own custom document into this lineup as well, and then you'd be able to assign it out just like any other learning path there as well. So that's a little bit about how learning can be customized, but another area that makes Pinnacle Series unique is that users can receive a personalized learning path that will focus on the areas that they need training on. To do this, we have another resource called Knowledge Smart, and it provides AEC technology assessments for each user. And then with the results of the assessment, each user can receive a targeted learning path based on their individual skills gaps. So to kind of give you an overview of what that process looks like, I have this trophy icon in my upper right-hand corner. That is the Knowledge Smart icon. So I have a little alert telling me that I have been assigned an assessment. I can select that assessment, and it's going to take me right over to that Knowledge Smart welcome page where I can get the details on the assessment that I'm being asked to complete. There's some download files available. So Knowledge Smart assessments are made up of task-based questions, meaning the user needs to complete an exercise within the technology, or they're also knowledge-based questions, meaning just the knowledge of the technology. So before I begin, I have to download the zip file so that I'm prepared to answer those questions. But now that I'm ready to begin, I can start my assessment. This is an example of the assessment your users can go through. You can see the question navigator on the left-hand side. Questions can be true, false, multiple choice, fill in the blank. Like I said, there'll be some reference to the zip file where they'll be asked to complete these steps before they can answer. So it is interactive, but once they have completed all the questions in the question navigator, they will be asked to submit. Upon submission, within 5 minutes, they will receive a personalized learning path right on their Pinnacle Series homepage. And by personalized, I mean it will only include topics that are needed based on the results of that assessment that they had just completed. So as an example of this, I have this Revit Architecture Fundamentals learning path on my homepage. You'll notice that trophy icon again. Once again, that is the Knowledge Smart icon. So this learning path has been personalized for me based on that assessment that I've completed. So I'm just going to jump in here real quick to show you some of the examples or the differences, I guess, of a standard learning path versus a personalized learning path. So up top, you can see that I was enrolled in 14 out of the 20 courses. So right off the top, I'm skipping over 6 entire courses, which this is a very long learning path. So that's essentially several hours of training that I am skipping over because I've shown that I already understand those topics. There's also a show all topics toggle where I will see the individual training items that I'm skipping over. You'll see that trophy icon again and how it's kind of grayed out. That just means the platform is going to skip over that item, but I still have the option to review if I am interested in seeing any of those items. So Knowledge Smart is a great resource for you to efficiently provide training for your users, based on their individual needs, but it's also a great way to identify what are the skills gaps across the organization or maybe across a certain team. With all this assessment data, you can identify where there might be opportunities for a larger training initiative for your organization there as well. Back on the home page here, I do want to highlight this live event calendar that allows us to create another learning style that we like here at Eagle Pointe, and that is a blended learning approach. And by blended, I mean in the My Courses section, we have the on-demand learning that users complete at their own pace, as they have time to do so. But this live event calendar allows you to incorporate live instructor-led training alongside the e-learning content to really reinforce the topics that they are learning on the platform. So your technical experts, your training coordinators, maybe your HR team can lead a live training, and from Pinnacle Series, the event can be organized and scheduled, and users can register for the event. As part of the subscription, Eagle Pointe Software does put on a series of webinars. We kind of release these at a quarterly basis. We kind of switch the focus of the technology from week to week, but those events are included in the subscription. An example of one is here on the screen. Users can register for anything that they are interested in. It will send an ICS file to the user to save to their Outlook calendar so they can be notified when that event does begin. But you could use this calendar to incorporate your events as well. So if you have lunch and learns, if you have webinars, if you're hosting an on-site sort of larger meeting, those events can also be incorporated. There's reporting built into the calendar as far as tracking registration and attendance there as well. Which brings us to our next kind of topic for today's overview. We talked about the training, whether it's on-demand learning or the webinars, but to go along with that, we need to be able to report on who's completing the training, how long it's taking users to complete, and some other data like that. So we have this tool called the Management Utility, where there are some different admin features, but one being learning reports. So if I go ahead and pull this up, it's going to be a kind of a high-level dashboard view of some of our reports. We can get an idea of who's currently enrolled, what courses were completed, who are our top learners, how long it's taking users to complete, and an overall learning path progress here as well. This is just a dashboard view. If I wanted to dive into the details of any of these dashboards, I can do so with this report details link. Go ahead and pull this up. From here, you would have the option to narrow down by individual user, maybe groups of users if you have teams set up. But over here on the raw data tab, I just want to show you the amount of data that is being tracked when it comes to learning. We can see the user's name, what they're enrolled in, the status of the enrollment. We can also get how much of the content has been reviewed so far, how many minutes it's taking the user, and if they have reached the end of the course and completed that quiz, what was the score that they received. So a lot of information. It can all be exported into Excel. If you want to take that to create some pivot tables, maybe take it into Power BI, you have all that data at your disposal there as well. So thinking back to those common challenges, we discussed the learning opportunities. I kind of introduced how information, knowledge can be incorporated into the platform either by adding your own materials or maybe customizing some of our out-of-the-box content. So that really brings us to that last challenge of productivity. So let's say your users are through training and onboarding and focusing on project work. They can use Pinnacle Series to find the quick answers to their questions or get the help they need if they get stuck. So from the homepage, there are a few areas that can help users get right to the content they need. Kind of how we discussed, users can browse through libraries, or they could do a search up top. Now, when Pinnacle Series does that search, it's going to look through our out-of-the-box materials that we have on the platform, but it's also going to look through any of the custom materials that you have incorporated into Pinnacle Series as well. Your organization will be listed as a publisher so that you could filter down through custom materials if needed. But you can see there are other filter options as far as asset type and technology here as well. Now from this results list, I do want to show you just a closer look at those asset types. We've looked at a learning path, so let's go ahead and check into a document here real quick. Documents are just quick, helpful information, tips and tricks This one is a cheat sheet walking the user through some steps within Revit. There are some helpful links and some screenshots here as well. All of our asset types have these icons up top. The share icon, I can copy a link, share via email, share with other users within Pinnacle Series as well. Videos, once again, all of our videos are just meant to be quick how-to type videos. We have the video navigation tools down below. I can speed it up, I can take it to full screen. I also have this transcript over here on the right-hand side. And the transcript is going to be helpful for a few different reasons, but just one being navigating the video. If I'm scrolling ahead and I find what I need, I can click into the transcript and the video will jump ahead. Same if I need to maybe go back and rewatch something, I can use the transcript to navigate as needed. Any videos that you add to Pinnacle Series can be auto-transcribed through our management utility. That transcription is going to help with that search that I was just showing you. So when Pinnacle Series does a search, it's going to look at titles, descriptions, but it's also going to scan through all the transcriptions to pull that list of results for the user conducting the search. Also, if you have any users that maybe need Pinnacle Series in a different language, Pinnacle Series is available in 90 different languages, but that language setting is available in the user profile section. Individual users can select the language that they need, and that would update that transcript that I was just showing you, but also any of the written word on the platform there as well. Finally, we have workflows as our last asset type. Once again, workflows are a diagram view of a process or a best practice. It's going to walk the user step by step through that process and kind of provide information on how they can complete the step or what they need to be doing. So on the left-hand side, we have the outline or the tree view of this process. In the middle, we have an interactive diagram view. I can zoom in, I can scroll over, following along step by step. But when I click into the steps, the details of what I need to be doing or how I complete the step will appear on the right-hand side here. So essentially the user is reading through the details over here on the right. There are some helpful links. So maybe if I need a reminder, there's a reference video that I can pop open without losing my spot into the workflow that I am following along to. There are also tool command links that will take users right to where they need to be. In this case, this is a Revit workflow. So if I select the link, I have Revit open, it's going to pop open that material browser window for me so that I can complete this step in the process. So workflows are a really helpful tool to have your project open on one screen, following along to a workflow on another screen, ensuring users are following the correct process the first time they work on something, and hopefully eliminating any need for rework down the road. As we discussed with a learning path, you can take any of our out-of-the-box content, such as this learning path, copy it down, and then make the modifications needed so that users are following, your process or your best practice there as well. All right, while I have Revit open, I do want to highlight this other tool that we do have available integrated into Revit, Civil 3D, AutoCAD, but it is called the Related Learning Topics tool. So when I am working on a project, depending on the commands that I am running or what I am selecting within Revit, it is going to show associated content to those commands. So if I do find myself working on walls and maybe just need that reminder, here's a quick 5-minute video on placing walls, and this link would take me directly over to Pinnacle Series to review that video. So it's a very helpful tool to keep the materials in front of the users, even while they are in project work. If you have documents, checklists, workflows that you would like your users to utilize while in project work, those items can also be associated to the correct commands and be shown in this tool as well. All right, I have just a few more areas here that I want to highlight. When a user logs in this My Work Group section, they will see any work groups that they are a part of. And work groups is a way to pull together the right group of content for the right group of people. You could create work groups for teams, disciplines, maybe location, maybe there's a project that a group of individuals is working on. Because what I've shown you so far, there is a lot of content, a lot of training available on the platform. Work groups is really a way to filter down that content that is relevant to a specific group of users and then just giving them quick access to those materials from their homepage. When I click into a work group, it's going to open up to that asset tab so that I can see those items that have been pulled together for this group of users. Maybe there's a course, maybe there's a checklist that everyone needs to be reviewing. There is a discussion tab where members of the group can leave comments or feedback for other members of the group. Here on the Members tab is where we can add or remove users. There's different levels of permissions within a work group as far as who can add materials or assign learning. But we also have the option to invite external users into a work group. So let's say this work group was created for a project team and you have a contractor, maybe a subconsultant also working on that project. They could be invited to the work group and that way they would have access to any of the materials that you've added to the Asset tab, but not all of Pinnacle Series. So whatever would be needed for that project for them to complete there as well. Kind of rounding out the home page, we also have this My Asset area. You can just think of that as a favorites or a bookmarks that you're used to seeing in any browser. Users can use that share icon to save items to their My Asset section. And that's really just giving them a quick link from their homepage to the items that they might be needing to use often. I'll talk real quickly about setting up Pinnacle Series. It is browser-based, so it's not a huge lift by any means. Usually just a matter of getting users into the platform, which can be done manually. You can also import from a spreadsheet. We have options for single sign-on. Once users are organized or added to the platform, they can be organized into groups, and groups will be what drive their permissions on the platform. So then you can dictate who has the ability or the permission to see the reporting versus who can add content versus who's maybe just a standard user on the platform there as well. All right, that is what I wanted to share with you this afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and jump back into PowerPoint here. Rose has just a few more things she'd like to discuss as far as the subscription of the platform. Rose?
Yes, thank you, Dolly, and thank you for a great presentation. So just to cover some details on our subscription model. So essentially you get unlimited access to this platform. So for you and your users, you can add them all in here and they get access to this whole library for a year or 3 years. Microdesk can tell you more about subscribing to the Pinnacle series, but it's not a one-time use of the solution. So you can train on as many learning paths and topics as you'd like. And with the use of that plugin or just going back to the platform, you can refresh your memory, learn more, and get the answers to the questions you have. From there, you can really pick and choose what content is relevant for your organization. So you can turn off anything that's irrelevant, but then also, like Dolly explained, you can upload your own content. It is available, the entire platform, in over 90 languages. So that goes down to an individual user. So if English is not your first language, any text is available in other languages as well. Then there's great reporting available to make sure that you're getting a return on your investment and to keep track of everybody's learning journey. Everything is backed up into the cloud, secure as well. And then there are some options to, leverage our Active Directory sync, and we have an open API as well. And then I'm not sure if we covered this today, but we do have live events from Microdesk in the live events calendar as well. So it's a great place to keep track of everything that's upcoming, whether that's a live event, training, a webinar, or anything like that. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Amanda.
If you're still not convinced yet, we do have a 14-day free trial available. You'll just contact your sales rep, or you can email us at info@microdesk.com. You can also find more information at our website at microdesk.com.